I want to thank you for joining me once again out here in the old dusty workshop for another episode of Let's Make a Sword. Today I'm going to be continuing work on the Damascus Sanmai Katana, and I'm really excited to get started. So I'm going to start by getting all of the finish grinding done, and then it's going to be time to move on to all of the fittings and the handle. So I'm really excited to show you guys what I have going on in this episode. It's going to look absolutely incredible. I want to thank you for joining me once again, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm about halfway through the finish grinding on the blade. I just did a test etch to make sure I got all of the decarb off. And I've got just about all of it, so it'll be done by the time I am done finish grinding. And you can really see some of the pattern peeking through. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera. I'll show you more in just a minute. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the Habaki made and get the Tsuba made as well. So I'm going to mill out a little channel on here, and then I will actually forge the shape of the tang into it. I have a little tool that I made, and that just gives me the best possible fit up. It's nice and quick. I don't have to spend hours with files doing that. So take you guys over to the little milling machine, and I will mill just a little slot. Then we'll move to the forge, get that widened and forged out to where it needs to be. And then I am going to get the Habaki together. Now these are just mild steel. I'm going to be doing a Scotch-Brite finish on them, and then I will blue them so they look absolutely amazing. It's a really cool finish. So let's go ahead and let's get started on the fittings for this sword. I have forged the guard into the shape of the tang. And you see how just well that works? And it's totally solid right there. I will have to file it out just a little bit to get it up to about there. But this just saves me so much time, and it helps my hands not have to file a whole ton of material out of a very difficult to file area. So, what I'm going to do now is get the Habaki built. I have it all set up here in the vise, and I'm just going to kind of tack weld it in place just to hold all the pieces where they should be. And when you make a Habaki out of copper, you will generally forge it over the blade and then silver solder the seam shut. When I do a mild steel Habaki, I do just weld it. That works really, really well, and it lets me get a really amazing finish on there. So I'm going to go ahead and tack this in place, and then I will take the sword out of the way. This won't transfer any heat to the sword. It's just kind of like a fixture that holds all the pieces there. There we are. It doesn't transfer any heat to the sword. And now I can finish this up. And there's the top. This will all get ground down and finished. At this point, the blade is finished ground or ready for hand sanding. The Habaki and guard are ready for their finishing. I'm going to do them in a blued finish, so it's going to look really cool. Excited to show you guys when those are done. But before I do that, I'm actually going to get the handle fit up, just so I can get everything exactly where I want it. And then at that point, it's just time to do the saya and all the finishing work. So I'm very excited. I'm going to show you guys something with the Habaki. So it is angled. It's thicker back towards here and thinner towards where the actual blade starts. And that really just helps it with sheathing. And so all of this is angled so that it goes into the saya nice and smooth. It's kind of a cool little geometrical thing I like doing with my Habakis lately. It looks really cool. And it does actually really help with putting the sword in the saya. So I'll take you guys over to the vise, and we are going to get the Koa handle scales all fit up. Now I'm going to rough shape the handle, and then I'm going to inlay the rayskin. So I just kind of cleaned up the edges with a little 120 grit just to kind of break the edges over a little bit. We'll get totally hand sanded after I have the area cut out for the inlay. But you can see that that koa is just absolutely beautiful. So now I'm going to take this stencil. I'm going to use this to scribe where I want the inlay to be. And then I will carve that out, and then I actually use the same stencil to cut the rayskin so that the fit is really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and get this scribed on and start getting that all carved out. There we go, that'll work for now. I will flatten it out a little bit more with some files, and then I'm going to finish the handle. So this corner will get rounded down just a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and carve out the other side so that I can get this ready for the inlay. I'm getting very close on getting the inlays all fit up. It does take a couple of times just to get everything perfect, but each time I just peel this off, kind of like that, and then I will kind of rough lay it in here, see where I need to remove a little bit more. There's a little bit right here, and then I just re-glue it to this, go back to the grinder, and just kind of thin out those areas that need to have a little bit more removed. And once these are fit up perfect, I will glue them into the handle, and then at that point it's just time to get the blade finished and wrap the handle, and the sword will be done. I have the rayskin all laid in here. I glued it, and that just looks absolutely awesome. And this will get a handle wrap over it so it'll look even cooler. That is where I'm going to call this episode. I hope you will catch me in the next one where we will be getting the sword all finished up. It's going to look absolutely incredible, especially once I get the etch done. I'm excited to really see that pattern in its fullest detail. I want to thank you for watching this episode, and I want to thank you for making it to the end. If you want to support the channel, the biggest way to do that is to hit the like and subscribe button down below. You can also find all of my links down there to my social media, as well as my Etsy and my website. So if you have any custom blade ideas, doesn't have to be a knife or sword, I do pole arms and axes as well, just go ahead and find me down there. You can send me a message. I want to thank you one last time. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day.